Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Conscious Marketer podcast. And I'm joined by one of the premier copywriters and internet marketers in the world, Kylie Slavik. Hi, Kylie.
Hello.
And we're so happy to have you back for this episode where we're going to be chatting about masterminds and what it takes to create a mastermind, launch a mastermind, and a little bit about mastermind design. And maybe we could start by kind of just sharing what a mastermind is. You want to kind of bring people into the fold, so make sure they get the memo on what actually a mastermind is. I think most people on our that are listening here already know, but I think it would be good to kind of share just what we see as a mastermind.
Absolutely. Well, the first time I really read about a mastermind, it was Napoleon Hill. And his whole concept, I may be a little bit off. His concept was regarding when you bring really brilliant minds together, it's almost like crowdsourcing the intelligence and being able to get faster results than what you can do on your own. And these days, it's really about bringing people with a common goal, a common cause, something in common that they want to create or establish in the world. And the people who are facilitating the mastermind give them the resources and the things that they need to do that. But they do a lot of the work. They do a lot of okay, Kylie and Richard just shared us how to do an avatar high level offer, and then they support each other. And it's a really cool thing to see. They amplify each other's results so much.
Yeah. And I'll also add that a true mastermind isn't really where you have like a guru up top that teaches everybody like a method or a system or something. A true mastermind is everybody that's in that mastermind has a level of mastery and often different kind of complementary ideas and subjects, so that you can get value from that group as much as the person who is starting the group. And that's really the kinds of masterminds you want to join, because you want to be aligned with the person who's running it. But if they're attracting a field of extraordinary creators and beings, then you're gonna be able to meet those people where probably you wouldn't be able to, or it'd be much harder to have those connections if you weren't part of that mastermind. So let's talk a little bit. I want to kind of debunk one of the myths about marketing, and I don't know where it came in or whatever, but a lot of people talk about ascension models, and this is related to masterminds. And one of the myths is that, if you're going in the market, that you have to start with some free gift, and then you got to upsell them into like the $7 thing, and then the $100 thing. And then you have to nurture them for 6 months or a year. And then eventually, you release your $1,000 program, and then you release your certification or your mastermind like in the future. And so that's called an ascension model. And there are cases where that works and that might be appropriate. So I'm not saying it's always wrong, but I think that what we like to do sometimes is think about descension models, because if you want to start, affecting masses of people, often you need to have a Facebook ads expert, and you need to be putting thousands of dollars into ads, and you need to have a big team around you because you need to be producing videos. And so it takes a lot of money actually to build a movement, to build a mass following. And it's actually much easier to work with what I call a descension model. And there's a little double meaning to that, because descension for me is also like channeling through like how you can be of greatest service to the world, working with super high level people. Would be kind of like taking the cream off the top of something, And so a descension model is you could be fresh to internet marketing, but you have really high level expertise in a specific topic. And you could just start your strategy, your business model with a small group of people that you charge a good amount of money. And you just start there. Now, the nice thing about that is if you can do that and you have the expertise, only do if you have the expertise, then it actually gives you income, and it gives you it gives you resources. So then you can kind of go backward. And one of my favorite examples of this is how Tesla was built, the company Elon Musk founded, because he started with a high-end sports car, all electric sports car. And then he released a high-end luxury sedan And then he released, I think the SUV, and then he released more of the mass market car, the Model 3. So he worked backwards. And there's a certain reasoning for that, because when you're first starting out and you have a smaller market, those people often want to buy a niche and unique product, and they're willing to pay more money. And so masterminds are a little bit like the same. People will pay a lot of money to be aligned with somebody who has specific expertise. You have any thoughts on this, Kylie? Because I think it's really an interesting way to look at it. You can ascend people through a model, but you can also descend model. And often with our private clients and our mastermind clients, we have a mastermind called The Source. This is often the model we're pursuing. Unless they already have like a big list or something, then it's like, okay, let's do a membership site, or then let's do a mass market program. We can work the other way too.
Yeah, I had a thought earlier when you were talking about ascension model from lower to higher, and I have only seen this work for a couple of companies. I won't name names, but they're probably the biggest company in digital marketing and the biggest company in personal development. And they are $50 million companies or more now. And they are able to spend millions and millions of dollars on Google ads and Facebook ads and everything else. They just out ad everybody. The term would be like a whale. And so they are, a lot of times those types of companies are looking for $1 in, $2 out. And that's all they're looking for, which is not that great. I mean, a lot of people are happy with that. I'm not, but it's great if you're spending $1 million, right? You get $1 million in, $2 million out. That's awesome. Like that's better than most investments that you could make. So most of us who are not spending $1 million on ad traffic a month need to consider more of like what Richard is saying. And one of the things I really like about descending too is if you have an offer at a lower level, at a medium level, and at a higher level, if someone says no to your higher offer, you have somewhere to descend them to. So you're monetizing the no's. That was one of the first things I heard when I came online, like, can you monetize the no's? That's genius. Because if you could do that, you're making a lot more money. And if you don't do it, you're not maximizing the energy and the resources that you're putting in to make that higher level offer. So I really like it. And you may find that there's buyers for that second level, that medium level. And if you can do that, like Richard said, if you have an email list and you can do that, great. But why not sell 25 people into a 10, 15, $20,000 program and call it a day? So
yeah. And we're kind of focusing on the money aspect, but the beautiful thing about a mastermind, first of all, is often those people that join the masterminds, they're higher level and they're action takers and they have resources, and it's a lot of fun to work with those people. And if you're at a level of mastery in whatever you do, relationships, spiritual stuff, health, money, whatever you teach, then this is the way where you can help people get the largest amount of transformation. And then those people can go out and affect, 1,000, 10,000, 1 million people. And this is like super exciting. So for you to actually make a bigger impact in the world, it's not so much about, it's not like a cash grab and like do the mastermind and do this. This is literally like the way that you can, create positive impact in the world. And so I think we should just lean into that a little bit here, because some of the greatest friends I've developed have been through mastermind relationships that I've had. We have a mastermind, The Source, but we're also part of other masterminds because other people gather extraordinary people around them. Maybe we should talk a little bit, Kylie, just about how we went about releasing our mastermind and the process that we went about. Does that sound good?
absolutely. First, I just want to say I was focused on the numbers and the money because I really do want you to make a lot of money. But also, I think that I presuppose that if you're listening to this podcast, you really care. So there's also that. I'm glad you brought that up. Gosh, well, let's just start with the name, because we took like 6 months to land the name. We painstakingly, we spent hours with our team trying to come up with the right name, and it was ridiculous. But it was so important because the name holds the frequency of the container, you know, and if it's not the right name, it's not going to attract the right people. So we said, what did we start out with? The syndicate.
You know, I think I was probably watching like too many Netflix episodes and series in Dark Side. So I was like, we should call this the Conscious Cartel, you know, like a group of people that instead of like running illegal substances, we could like change consciousness, you know, and create a little consciousness cartel. And amazingly, somebody has that name. They register that name. So I was like, okay, that's out. And then I think the second version we had was like, I really like the word syndicate. And I think we were kind of trying to go something like the Soul Syndicate, but it's a band. It's like a band in the 80s and they have the name. And I was like, that's just super weird, you know, to like take a band's name. This is the naming thing. You know, you have to kind of find something that's unique and has the resonance. And then we started to kind of think of the energy, and we were like nobility and lions and, you know, like higher level chakras. And we were trying to figure out a name that would help us to share that we wanted people to kind of be channeling their higher self, their oversoul, down into this world, you know, kind of like the ascension. It was like bringing their highest gifts and kind of like their superpowers and like showing up for that, because that's what the world needs, is our belief. And so we started working with this designer named Cassie. She's an amazing designer. And she kind of like, she does a lot of visual branding, and she kind of gave us names based on chakras, which is amazing. And one of the names on the top chakras, I think it was the crown chakra, was this, she had source, and I forgot the other names for that top chakra. And when I saw the word source, I had kind of had this vision and dream about the source. I was like, wow, that's a really good name. I really like the source. And so it kind of came from this work we did with this visual branding we were working on. And then once we had that name, it happened fast. And then, because we had been working on the actual offer itself, probably, you know, we've been working on the name for 6 months, but also we had this document that we were working on for about 6 months too, because we really wanted to get the offer right as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that was like a journey in and of itself. And then we had to really consider who we thought was a good fit for this offer, because we do have other programs that different types of people are more well suited for. That's where they're at. That's what they need. And so we really had to consider who is our avatar for this program. Now, I speak about avatar all the time. I think we should do the work on avatar for everything that we sell, and not just, you know, we got this one avatar, boom, let's descend or ascend them. It's kind of like, as we're doing that process, who do we want to speak to? And it was so interesting. I keep telling Richard that he filled it in a couple of weeks, and he keeps saying, I don't know if I did, but it's like, I think sometimes when you clearly define who that avatar is and like you put it into the field, they just start to show up. I was telling him, I'm like, I don't even know where any of these people came from. I don't. Some of them came from our accelerator program. A good amount of them did, but the rest of them, I'm just kind of like, were they just kind of hanging out? And right before we pressed go on this launch, Richard said, I can feel like 16, 17 people just hanging out in the field. They're ready. They're going to come. And they did. And so sometimes that means if you spend all that time in the beginning of doing something, you don't have to spend months and months and months doing the marketing. You set the container and it's more attractive. And we did do one webinar and a couple emails, and that was it.
Yeah. And it's a little counterintuitive, because you think, oh, the bigger the offer, I got to do this fancy sales page, and I have to, create a multi-sequence video series, and, I've got to do all this paid advertising. But really, if you've been nurturing and giving to your lists, really what it is there's a percentage of your list that really wants a much higher level offer, and they don't really want the lower offers. And my analogy for this is, if I'm going to sell a plane seat, and this kind of goes back to the ascension descension thing, I'm not trying to take the person who just bought the economy ticket, like on last minute dot whatever. I don't think that site exists anymore, but like, the seat next to the toilet in the back seat. I've sat there many times, and then try to send that person to business class and then to first class. And so what I'm trying to do is actually find the people who are already kind of like at a level where they have the resources and they want the deeper experience. And so a lot of those people will just hang out and watch you on your list, and they'll just wait for the offer. So I could definitely feel that our community had grown to a point where we had a lot of people who were like, okay, I really want to go deeper. I really want to build a platform. I want to do multiple offers and put together a strategy. And I really felt like we had something unique to offer them, to create the holding space for that. So yeah, so there's definitely like, there's this field that develops. And I think one of the biggest fears, even with the people we mentor, is it's like, I have no idea how I'm going to fill it. And I'm like, just leave that to your higher self, leave that to whatever, leave that to the universe to decide how the people are going to come. What you have to create is the container. What you have to create is a system for transformation that you're really confident that works. And then you, with the higher level mastermind, I think the last thing I'll say is when you put that offer out, it's really important. It's important for every offer you shouldn't be trying to convince people to join, And so on most of the calls or chats or things I had for this one, it was like, I'm literally not getting on that call to try to convince somebody that this is a good idea. I'm actually trying to see if they're a good fit, see if it's the right decision for them so that they can make the best decision. And in some ways, especially when you do high level masterminds, you really need to be interviewing them versus the other way around. Because it's normally these groups are smaller and you really want that group to have, everybody that's fully in and committed and contributing like positive energy into the group.
Absolutely. I think the last thing I want to say about this whole topic is then it becomes so important how you're disseminating the content and what your delivery is. So a lot of people just kind of haphazardly put a group together and then go, I don't know what to do with them. And I've paid $50,000 to be in masterminds like that. The events were amazing though, so it kind of made up for it. But I really believe that it's looking at what does each person really need and what does everybody need. So we tailor the content towards who's there and where they're at. But then there's like universal principles of marketing everyone needs to know. So everyone thinks I've done avatar work before. And I know that my process for avatar is something that no one's ever done before. And so that is where I start. Any program I ever teach, whether they pay $1,500 or $15,000, they are getting avatar worksheets in the beginning of my teaching. And then I take them through their story. And then I take them through starting to do something with all of that, writing copy, getting on video. So it's an ascension from the foundation to the application, if that makes sense. And so, I like to do content where it's bite-sized, it's actionable. I'm not fire hosing them with information, but they don't know what to do with it. That's not what people pay a lot of money for. They don't pay a lot of money for information. They pay for transformation. So we just give them as much as they actually need to take the action that they need to take to get where we think that they need to go and where they want to go, typically speaking. And then we also do a Slack channel so they can ask questions. We have different channels like copywriting, offers, different things like that, storytelling. And that is how they can get what they need in the fastest amount of time to put it in the right channel. And also what I love, because this one just kind of started, they're already connecting with each other. Like someone asked me how I manage my time being so busy. And I said, I don't manage my time, I manage my energy, because I can't manage my time. I don't have enough time in a day, but I can manage my energy and how I show up. And then one other woman was like, that's a great question. Here's what I do. And it's like, it just goes on and on and on. And it's the coolest thing to see. Someone else often has a better answer than I do. That's why Richard said, we're not the gurus, we're the facilitators. And the magic happens when they actually talk to each other. So that's kind of what we do. We do group calls and we do Slack and we do trainings. And I think that's enough. I don't think they need anything more. Oh, we do events, which is very exciting because we're doing one where I live.
Yeah, and in Spain. So this is that's going to be a fun mastermind. I would just add one more thing. And this is how I've thought about the masterminds that I've joined. And I think the higher level people and entrepreneurs and digital creators, they think this way, but it's kind of like, if you join a mastermind, you know, the people you're working with should be thinking like this, like what Kylie just said. It's like, how do we over deliver value? And then if you're going to join a mastermind, whether it's ours in the future or somebody else's, I always think like, what's the 1 or 2 or 3 ways that I can really get value out of it? And so by taking action, that's the first thing. But it's interesting, as your business grows and you make more income, you know, one tweak here or one new method you learn or one affiliate contact can literally be worth like hundreds of thousands of dollars. I've seen this happen. These masterminds are like pools of opportunity, pools of possibility that literally often, you know, the price of these seems high relative, you know, it's like a price of a car or something like that. But then when you think about, you know, a partner that can generate $50,000 into your bank account or $100,000, or you know, a lifetime relationship that you develop with friends, and all the intangibles, it's really, they're extraordinary things. I'm glad that this work continues to evolve, and I think the internet has made more masterminds available to people. And I definitely, if you're not in one now, then I highly encourage you to like eventually like put that on your list, because it's literally the fastest way, one of the fastest ways I know that you can grow your business and actually, you know, move forward with goals in all areas of your life.
I love it. It's so good. I hope you got some value out of that, and maybe are thinking about doing a high level group, or if you're doing a high level group already, hopefully we added some little tweak that you can use that helps you either grow it or grow it financially, grow it spiritually, help the members have a new experience, or whatever it is that you're looking to do.
Yeah, thanks for joining us today here on the podcast. And like always, please like and share this with others. That's how we grow our community. On Facebook, you can find us on our free group. It's called the Conscious Marketer's Path. Search for that there. Kylie and I are in there posting some free content. And then for all the podcast episodes and to find out what we're doing and to join our email list, head over to consciousmarketer.com and you can get all the information there. Thanks, everybody, and we will be with you next time.